I wanted to prep this with my bread and butter is in social media. I've been working in organic social media strategy for the last 7 years. Prior to this, I was at an agency and headed the social media and PR team for 4 years. So I know social. I'm also a millennial woman and I'm chronically online. So I just always know what is happening and I love it. I think it's a really fun space. And I think social media is a really great way to engage with your audiences. And it's also it can be time consuming, but it doesn't have to be that deep sometimes. It's fairly inexpensive as well. It's a great way to just find new audiences and connect with them in a really fun and genuine way. So I wanted to kind of do a quick presentation on how to create good, compelling content on social media and how to connect with your audiences and keep them engaged. So I want you to think about your favorite page or creator to follow on social media and why you like their content. And I can almost guarantee that your favorite content probably does one or more of these actions. It probably entertains, it educates, or it inspires you. So your content on social media really needs to provide value in one way or another. It needs to do one of these three things. Otherwise, there's no point. You can tell when you engage with something on social media and it's just like they're doing it just to do it, but does it make your life better? Does it make you laugh? Does it, teach you something? If it's not doing one of those three things, then just don't worry about it, but make sure that with every piece of content that you provide, it entertains, educates, or inspires. The social media algorithms prioritize engagement, so they really pay attention to how people engage with your content. When social media like Instagram got super big, like in 2017, it was all about likes and following. I wouldn't say that's as relevant anymore, but it's still some sort of engagement. At least people are kind of indicating whether they like something or not. What I would say, the type of content that tends to perform well and will continue to be optimized by the social media platforms are comments, saves, and shares. So if people are responding to what you're posting, if people are saving it and wanting to refer to it later, or if they're sharing it with friends, that's even bigger, the platforms recognize that and will continue to push that content. So what kind of content can we share that encourages these types of engagement? So let's go to product education first. See how we can educate our audience about the product and service that we provide. So how it works, what's the process for getting a quote, what's the process for installation, and then let people know about the product. So what is it, what is Jellyfish Lighting, how does Jellyfish Lighting work, and how is Jellyfish different from maybe some of the other competitors and permanent LED providers. Then we can do a lot in educating our audience about how to use the product. That's something that we've been trying to do quite a bit is just sharing how to make using the app a little bit easier. So share some app education, share how to find and create unique patterns and then creating your own zones, et cetera. Anything that you have probably asked in regards to the product, you'll want to share that on social media. So share that information. And then I would also say behind the scenes content kind of falls under education, but I would say also falls under entertainment. People really love to see the people behind the brand. And so kind of share that, share what you're working on, share some content from the installation that you're doing that day and what you're doing with that installation. So be a little bit personable with your content. In regards to inspiration, you really just want to share what can be achieved with your product. So first, use cases, share, photos from various holidays, game day, patterns, accident and security, but then also just any sort of glamour shot of the product. People want to see pretty things, and they're going to engage with that. So share good-looking photos and videos of your installations. And then finally, when it comes to entertainment, there's a lot of trendy content. That's the kind of thing that's like the POV or people kind of sharing fun jokes with their videos. So anything that's trendy or funny or in lighthearted humor. I think a lot of people like to have fun on social media, and I think nowadays we're just trying to get by, and so we just need to be entertained in one way or another. We just want to have fun and not have to worry about a lot of things. So have fun with your content, and then tell a good story, either about your brand or what you're doing with this installation. But tell a story with who you are and what you can do with Jellyfish Lights. So I wanted to kind of walk through how to create a more like trendy piece of content. This type of content is a really good way to capture attention and introduce your brand to a new audience, because it's more of like the viral thing. So I wanted to walk through how to do this, because it kind of takes a while to learn and to adapt. So number one is just spend a lot of time on social media, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. It can definitely be a time suck. But as you start to scroll through Reels, Instagram Reels or TikTok, pay attention to these three things. Number one, any repeating songs or audio. If you notice that this song or this clip from this song is playing in multiple videos, that obviously indicates that this piece of content is trending, and it's pretty popular, and so you're gonna wanna hop onto that. Also pay attention to any, similar messages or keywords across various Reels and TikToks. So, for example, a couple weeks ago, there was a trend that was like, almost forgot that this was the whole point, and everyone was like hopping onto this trend and then sharing some video footage with something. But that was like the key phrase across all of these Reels. So see how you can kind of adapt to that and make that work. And then pay attention to any original videos that uses our stitching. So if you see like a 3-second video clip at the beginning and then someone is responding to that, and a lot of people are responding to this initial like clip, see what you can do with that. And that goes into our next step. So once you've identified like these primary trends, ask yourself if this trend can be like genuinely adapted to your brand. If it really has to feel like natural, but I wouldn't say like don't be too obvious at the same time, because then it's just like, okay, you're just creating another piece of content that everyone else is like hopping onto, but I'm not like learning about your brand or the product. But also don't stretch it too much. It's kind of like this fine balance. If you think it's a stretch, it probably is. And not every trend is going to work for your brand, and that's totally okay. There are lots of trends that we see online that we choose not to participate in on social because the Jellyfish brand is not going to fit in well with this theme, or maybe the piece of audio or the song that's being used is maybe not appropriate, a little crass or something. We want to maintain our brand mission and message. So just make sure it feels right, and kind of have fun with it, but you don't have to participate in every trend, and that's totally fine. Finally, once you've found this kind of common theme, you know that you can make this trend work for you, start collecting your content. So see if you have any existing photos or videos that you can use. That's always nice, but if you do need to go out and film new content or capture a new pattern that's playing, do that fairly quickly, because trends are pretty fleeting and last sometimes 2 days, sometimes 2 weeks, but very rarely longer than that. So if you really want to make it work quickly, and then go ahead and make your video. Additional tips and tricks: clean your camera lens. If you're filming new content and you have a dirty camera lens, like your video is going to look really bad. And especially because we are shooting lights, we want the content to be as clear as possible. So if your lens is foggy, your lights are going to look foggy, and that's not going to make your brand look good. So clean your camera lens, and then use content that fills the screen. So social, like Instagram, Reels, and TikTok really want to fill that kind of vertical video screen. I don't want to see any like black bars on the top. If your content isn't like filling the frame, I think it lessens the quality of the video, and it just doesn't look as clean. And the platforms also notice that, so just fill the screen as much as you can. And then use clean, simple fonts. I know playing around with fonts can be fun, but sometimes it just looks messy. So choose one, and then make sure it's not like some obscure color that's like blending in with the color of the lights. Be as clean and simple as possible, because it's just going to look better. And then edit within the app that you're planning on publishing. So if you are creating a TikTok, use the TikTok editing features. They have a really impressive kind of like video editing feature within the app. They also have CapCut that is owned by TikTok, and that's a really great tool to use. And then the same with Instagram. I'm really impressed with their video editing capabilities. And they've also recently released, I think as of like last week, their own version of CapCut, but it's called Edits. And so you can edit videos within that. And then these platforms recognize when you're editing your content within their their platform, so they're gonna push that a little bit more if they do notice that. If you're also kind of like cross-posting, which is totally okay, make sure that you remove any like watermarks. So for example, if you are publishing on TikTok and then you wanna download and then reshare that to Instagram, get rid of that watermark. There are a couple like websites that you can use to kind of share the link of your original piece of content and remove that watermark, and then cross-post to other platforms. It just looks cleaner. If they notice these watermarks, they're gonna kind of ding you and not push your content out there. And then last but not least, don't take yourself too seriously when it comes to like trendy content. Overproduced does not always mean it's going to be good. Sometimes the most informal pieces of content perform the best. So just kind of have fun, and if it doesn't work, that's totally okay. I would say also just stay consistent. You're not always going to go viral, and that's totally okay. But as long as you are posting consistently, like we mentioned earlier, that's all that matters. And there's going to be, one trend that's going to get you in front of new eyes. Better than others, but have a lot of fun. Don't take yourself too seriously, and just keep playing around with it. And as always, you can always reach out to me if you want to need more content for these types of pieces, these types of training videos. I'm here to help. And that's it for me.